All right, I think we'll go ahead and try to give this a go here. So I know we've had you in meeting rooms most of the day and kind of shuffled you around. I would encourage everybody later today to go over to that side of the building and look at a node. And that's really what we're going to be ultimately talking about as to how we're going to execute this through a manufacturing execution system. We'll be using our node device. So I would recommend everybody go take a look, talk with Jonathan, and we're going to get into a bit of why the node. So the node makes the shop floor easier to run, not harder to use. Why MES matters inside Odoo, we're going to go through that. Node, how that we're going to assign it to a work center. We're going to perform labor reporting without friction and inventory transactions in real time. Odoo is strong when transactions are accurate. Manufacturing breaks down when the transactions happen after the fact. So the questions we want to be able to answer is what is actually running? Who worked on it when? What was consumed, made, scrapped, or moved? And can we make it simpler to use? So MES is that layer that captures the work as it happens. Start, stop, quantity, quality events, scrap, movements, and exceptions. What the node was built to do. Simple interface, operators see only what they need. The Odoo license is consumed at the work center, and employees can log in, and the accountability are tied to the user. Okay. So one of the reasons for the simple interface is we get a lot of turnover. We want to have an easy way to train our staff. We don't want to have them learn the entire ERP system. We want to keep this laser focused down. The other thing we do is we put that node on either our own device or put it on a tablet. From a cost standpoint, $125 Samsung, keep it on the floor, it's at the work center. So your dollar value from an investment is low. You don't have this work kiosk over in the corner, becomes that water cooler issue where everybody gets together. And the other reason why we want to make this so simple is there might have been somebody who looked just like me 20 years ago that told my boss that you pay me to make parts, not to go and play on the computer, right? I'm sure some of you have heard it before. So we want to have that tablet right there. We want to make it very simple for them to log their time, stop, and perform any of the other actions, whether still view work instructions, be able to scrap products, and because it's Odoo and the way we can configure it, it's automatically going to consume that inventory. So think of the node as an execution screen for a work center. It turns an Odoo work order into a guided set of shop floor actions. So we're just going to go through that process, and we're going to create the work order, or manufacturing order work order on Odoo. Node's going to be at the work center. We're going to capture everything, and then Odoo updates inventory and the costing. So result, fewer after the shift transactions and more real-time operational truth. And I think that's one of the keys. And one of the things you'll hear from Paul later if you join the node automation is we want that real-time data. We want to know when that product is done. Plenty of shops, and sometimes it just is what it is. The yellow cards are coming in at the end of the day. We're now go ahead and saying, well, he did this, and we're doing that transaction. We want to be able to have them do that real time so you can see where your products are flowing through the shop. Labor reporting should be a byproduct of doing the work, not a separate data entry chore. So we can log in using a PIN, RFID, start and begin even using barcodes, report quantity and scrap, and finish complete operations and push the status. And this is where we talk about that byproduct. This should be, again, we want it so simple that it's not a chore for them to do. They don't have to go anywhere else to do it. And we can expound on that when Paul shows you the automations that we can do with the node. So we want to create, again, that one shared truth. So a simple node transaction can update multiple parts of the operation. So as long as we have our bill of materials configured correctly that are going to have the components within it, as we labor report and say what we completed, it's going to consume the inventory as it's supposed to. Now on our node, nothing is stored in the node. It is basically just the vehicle to supply it to Odoo. So it is live. If I'm looking at a manufacturing order in Odoo and there's 100 pieces to do and somebody labor reports one on the floor, If I refresh my screen, I'm going to see that one reported on the screen. And so kind of what we went through a little bit earlier, why that simple interface matters, right? Fewer button, work center specific actions. What I like about the node is that when I'm at that work center A, that's the work I'm seeing. Your operator is not looking through a sea of work orders. Oh, is that at this machine or at this machine? It's focused directly down to the place that they are at. Again, less training. Operators don't need to learn the entire ERP. It's as simple as, here's my job, I hit start, I hit stop. Cleaner transactions happen at the source. We're gonna get better data and better adoption. Operators doing the right thing faster. If we make it simple enough and easy enough for them to interact with the system, you're not gonna get the not my job. We wanna make it seamless. It's a part of working at that work center. And I like this as far as that next correct action is obvious. So when they're in the screen, Odoo does this quite a bit. In the upper left-hand corner of a screen, you'll see like a purple button. And Odoo refers to that as like the next logical step. And we've done the same thing with the node. So when you're in a screen, it's showing you this is probably the next logical thing you should do. And I move like a cat. So questions, thoughts, and any Odoo questions are available. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
We were looking at implementing something in our production facility, one of ours, and I'm concerned about our network connectivity there. If we're driving manufacturing, making things happen on devices, is there a local unit there that knows about my work orders that are coming up that will survive an internet failure?
It should. Let's go ask Jonathan. If we get too technical, I'm going to fall right on my face. I know everybody said so many great things about me today. Not many of them are true, and it's definitely not any technical strength. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Is there a Samsung tablet you recommend?
I think it's the S25 or something. We can get that I'll get that from John right after this. Yep. It's just going back to Odoo, basically, yep. You had a question, sorry?
Yeah, so let's say you've got a bill of materials and a clear set of instructions, and it's the middle of the night and somebody decides to swap and grab an alternate material. How does the node handle that? I mean, I know you want to control the users and you tackle that with correct human behavior, but would you have to go back and update the bill of materials for the node to capture everything properly?
Yes, you would. So in this case, like if somebody grabbed the wrong material, it might be a matter of how we want to set the process up to begin with and how they're going to pick that material. And maybe then we can eliminate that. Through the node, we are able to add a component or switch the material to something else. So as long as they go through the correct steps, it would work perfectly. And whether that's from the node or through Odoo. But from somebody just, I guess the way to think of it is they purposely grab something because they want it to, and it's okay for them to use it, they can just add a component from the node.
I missed the very beginning of the licenses. Do you need additional licenses for each node, or does the user license cover?
The node license is a user license. Yes, yep.
Each employee has a license, and then in addition, each node.
Work Center has a license. Employees log into that license, basically. Okay. Jonathan, what was the Samsung we recommend?
A11 Plus, I think, is now the latest minimal model.
A11 Plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the licensing, it depends on how you want to track your information when it comes to the users. So technically you only need one license for all of your node devices, but everything in Odoo will be referenced under that one user license. So like when you have administrator, which is typically a user license, you would see, if you named it node, you would see all of that. Now, when it comes to tracking stuff on a work center, you will have your employees log in, and you would see your time track against those employees. But any administrator level stuff or user level stuff that is tracked in Odoo would be under that one user license. Most people just want to track time on their work centers, so it's just one license, and then you'll see your employees. I think we only have one customer that wanted to see like each individual node device and user level. So like, there's two levels to it. You got your user, which has all the admin privileges, and then you have your employees, which don't need a license, but kind of HR. So.
Small company just implementing Odoo. We have a license for each user so that we can use the chat function each person.
Yeah, so for the node, you'd only need one per all node devices. So.
Jim, could you ask the technical question for Jonathan?
If you have a node in a remote location and a loose internet connection, and it has orders to do something. Okay, so if I have a node at a remote location and I've sent a bill of materials to be executed, can it live on that node down there so it can complete if my internet gets severed while it's happening?
So as of right now, we don't have any offline management with the Node app devices because we wanted to keep Odoo as the source of truth. So if you lose connection, you do lose that information back and forth.
But if that manufacturing order was in the node, and that it doesn't leave the node, it would still be there when the connectivity came back.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. That it would.
Sorry. And maybe I just talked too fast, so I apologize if I burned through that too quick. Yeah, that was the other kind of thought, was I could get us back on track here a little bit. So, and if people, if you are the ones who are interested in Node, if we're not gonna, are you gonna get us back, just keep us on track then and get Trevor? Yeah, okay. Nope. Like I said, I encourage you, if you're interested in the Node, go over to the left. Jonathan will be over there giving live demos, showing you how it works, showing you the ease of use. And also, if you're interested in Node, I would encourage you to go to the Paul Osterhaus demonstration on the Node automation. Thank you very much.